I feel like we haven't seen it a lot. It is this kind of old school kind of solution to the puck, right? Just like too much HP to be bullied by puck out of the lane. The regen's really good. So I still see it working for those reasons. I'm just kind of wondering, like, what are the timings you're going to fight around? Probably just Akashi, right? Probably just that Deso Dagger.
Yeah, so in my experience, because I actually have played it like 4 or 5 times in the last week in this specific matchup, because everyone just basically what the pub meta is everyone has like Quap and Puck on their ban lists. If Quap is banned, you just pick Puck. And if they're both in the pool, people usually pick Puck. So it's like you always pick Puck every single game unless Quap is in the pool, and then unless Puck is banned, then you pick Quap. And so because of that, people are first picking Puck, and I would just pick Dragonite a lot. And basically the timing I was going for was just Blink Orchid. And then eventually you force the Puck to have to go like a Yules or a Lincolns, but even then you still have, if it's Yules, you can still stun them anyway, and if it's Lincolns, you have a way to break it for your stun.
Would you also normally go Green Dragon in this matchup, as we see here for Nemesis?
I always go Green Dragon, I think. I think as mid, it's just, it feels too bad to go either the other two. The other two are both like kind of scaling facets. Whereas I think the green one's actually, like, you get minus armor, you get like the dot, which I think both matter a lot, especially versus Puck, who is low armor, and you have minus armor from the TA. You have physical damage from the Dawn. So it's like everything just adds up bit by bit. This like -5 armor you get for free. I like it. I'm hoping it looks good, because I don't want to feel like I was led astray by my own information.
We'll see how it goes. I mean, I've generally been pretty impressed by Max lane. I will say I think his rotations, especially in game 1 on the Storm, and, you know, let's not forget the Holy Locket first item. I think that was a little bit more questionable, but I would say his laning mechanics have been very solid. So it feels like this is the kind of matchup where you can really use that to snowball. This time, there's no global hero to come gank you at 4 minutes in, so he may be actually able to build something up. I'm seeing that a little bit more clearly here as we're going to get going after a quick tech pause. I also see that transference, that's what it's called, transference on the Disruptor. So we can expect to see a little bit of that manual activated by Ollie to try and get out of range of Lion Stun, or more likely the Dawnbreaker, Starbreaker combo, right? So that'll be pretty fun to see too.
It's mostly going to be to push away the like 3rd hit of the Dawnbreaker. Maybe if he uses it like very, very early, it can push away the whole thing, but it's definitely a cool interaction. And even if it saves you from like 1 Dawnbreaker Q in the lane, it's worth it, because that's like a lot of damage being mitigated effectively. Maybe it makes your trade better because now you can hit the Dawn instead because he missed the stun.
Right. She's not life stealing if she has the points.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, it adds up, these little things. Celestial Hammer, as you expect, early, but 3 runes still for Yakutou Brothers. Named so, of course, because their coach is named Yakult, so they previously competed as that, but now here as Yakutou Brothers. I'm wondering how much the coach drives the draft versus Baboka, because again, I know Baboka on this team has played. I don't know if he's eager to play these weird hero support, or if it's Coach Yakult who's saying, hey, we need to adjust for this. So I do wonder how that works. We'll have to ask
I think in my experience, it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
It does depend on the coach. I know, like, when I worked with Astini, we would 50-50, like, I'd bring a crazy idea or he would. But you kind of need, like, both players, right? Like, you need a coach who's confident enough with your crazy ideas, but you also need someone who's willing to do crazy ideas too. Like, it's a push and pull.
Yeah, that was during Seattle TI, right? The last one, what, TI 13?
Yeah.
12?
Yeah, I believe it was 12.
Yeah, 12. 11 was Singapore, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very
Good
cool.
old Ogre Magi mid, Nyx mid.
Oh boy, indeed.
The good old days.
Good old what? Who was it? Lanham saying how he thinks his team is very strong while they get 5 for 0'd by a Huskar.
They were just getting towered up by like Lone Druid Weaver level 1.
Oh god, that was sick. What a TI being in the crowd for that.
That was so funny.
Here we are, lanes. What's the fun lane here? Oh, the fun lane's certainly mid for Mac. He's really starting to. Well, I guess the bottle's now out, right? But we can expect that to be a little bit better for Emo. But so far, so good, right? 9 and 4. Is this how the early waves tend to look for you? Gunner, when you play this matchup?
Yeah, it's definitely. I think he's doing really good, just overall. And then he's probably gonna get raindrops at 3, have a really solid lane, but it should be this way. Like, I would be surprised if it went any better for the Puck at this point. He'll just free farm. There's a time where Puck gets level 3, sometimes level 5. If they have infinite mana, they just kind of chip you down a bit with orbs, and you'll maybe get to like half health. But usually what ends up happening is if you don't do it early enough, which I don't think he will this game, Dragon Knight never basically drops below 80% HP, and it's impossible for him to get pressured.
Oh, singular bracer, stick on the way into the treads, blink dagger. Fairly standard build up here for Mac. I'm excited to see him start connecting with more of his cores. If you ever played StarCraft, you know, there's like the triple M's on Terran, you know, Marines, Marauders, Medevacs. I think for TA, it's very similar. It's 4 Ds really, right? Dragonlance, Dagger, Deso, Daedalus, right? Or in some order, I might have flopped 1 or 2 of those, but super strong timings. Yeah, super strong timings on every single one. On the second upwards, basically, you have really strong timings.
Yeah, I agree. It's the Matoma Man hero. Do you know about the Matoma Man carry items? Have you ever heard this concept?
I don't think I have.
It's that Matoma Man was a really good player at buying red items on his heroes. Because a lot of carries would not, but he would just buy like Deso Daedalus a lot of games and actually just have straight up damage.
Right.
So it's like, you know, perfect. He just shows up at some point in the game. He's got Deso. He'd someone buy like Mask of Madness, Daedalus, just everything.
Right. He'd love the blood grenades. He'd be one of those players that always had one at like minute 37, just a blood grenade chilling in the inventory.
Do you get mad when people have like branches just in their backpacks because they don't do the mark for sell? Oh no,
Mac. Still 3 heroes here, not 4. Fairly tanky. Oh, he's taking a lot of damage, and the glimpse back into the river versus 3 heroes with the body blocks. It'll be a first blood 4 minutes in. As this time Eris is a little bit too slow to rotate. I think he TP'd to the tower there. Didn't end up working out as the Morphling. He's okay up top lane. He's all right. He's baiting our observers, as Morphlings like to do. I don't think I get too upset when I see people with sticks in the back. I'm always like, that's a good stick, you know? It's like, you know, when you go for a walk and
you bought at the start of the game.
Yeah, you know, when you find a nice stick, you got to take it with you on the walk or on the hike, right?
Of course.
You're not just gonna, you know, you're not just gonna give that stick away. No, I love the blood grenades late into the game, though. You never know. It's a decent slow. You know, the damage is pitiful at that point, but the slow is not bad. Okay, first item, Earn online already for Emo. So we'll see how he starts to rotate, if at all. That's always the threat against a DK, right? Is he's just going to take your tower.
You can't leave your mid tower. I mean, even if you're sitting mid, he can kind of just take the tower. I'm surprised about the vessel that I'm assuming Emo's going. I guess it's for just DK damage, but even then, I don't know. Having a Witchblade, just the armor from it, like the 4 or 5 armor you get from having a Witchblade, I feel like would matter a lot versus TA and Dragon Knight.
Yeah, I do see 3 solid vessel targets, you know, this DK, this Dawn, and of course the Ogre, all being fairly tanky, high strength gain heroes. So, you know, I do see the utility of it, but I hear what you're saying. Maybe he thinks he doesn't have to frontline because he's got the Bristle there for him. He's going to have a Morphling eventually who's going to be able to play with the Agi and the Strength, right? But it's an interesting concept because it's also like less scaling damage as well, isn't it? They're really fighting out here.
It messes up with your Plasma timing too, which is actually a really big mid-game timing for Pucks, I would say. Where they get... In like a free Puck game, in an ideal world, you get like Witchblade, then Blink, and then Shard, and then Plasma. You just have Blink Plasma, and you're so strong. But when you go Vessel, it just makes it so your Plasma so late.
Okay. Ollie didn't activate the transference there manually. Didn't really need to. There's that Luminosity hit, the Lion Stun, finding the air as Eris able to at least get off a cast of that Fireball before he goes. Oh, I thought Fluffy was going to die.
But mid tower goes down for it. This is a cool build for Mac. I mean, I don't know how good it is, but he went 2-0-3. I'm assuming he's gonna go 2-0-4. 0 points in stun. Which interesting. I feel like generally you think of Dragonite getting his W even at level 2, just to like randomly stun the enemy mid, hit him once or twice, walk away. But I guess he's assuming the puck's never gonna give him a good time to stun, and that if you go, you know, like 2, 3, 4 points in your E, it gives him this like tower pressure.
Yeah, so
cool
I
to see
suppose so. I mean, it is curious though, right? Because it feels like if you've got other stuns on your lineup, you're probably not going to hit a Starbreaker first onto a puck. But you know, you've got that Hex, that Earth Spike, Fire Blast eventually,
Yeah.
right? Like it seems like
I feel like the weirdest part about the skill build is now it's like you'd rather have max Q, especially when you buy this Null Talisman.
right.
Like you want to be able to pressure Q to farm faster, and he's kind of he can't. Like it's level 2.
They get in the stacks here as well to Raven. So he's going to try and get his phase boots online earlier. That little bit of bonus armor. Yeah, it's going to actually help out quite a bit, won't it? Versus the bristles damage, the Morphine's right clicks if he shows up early. Significant. Ah, and of course, Bloodlust. Okay. Pretty good Bloodlust targets this game, right? DK and the TA especially. Honestly, even the Dawnbreaker's not a terrible target.
Perfect. So I was actually gonna say, I think usually you'd want to like go to your Dawnbreaker or to your offlane and take the enemy safe lane tower with like this DK's first rotation, but because they have a Dawnbreaker who's about to hit level 6, it's almost always better to fight away. So they're gonna be smoking to bot to try to pressure this tier 1 at the exact same time Dawn's hitting 6. So it's like right now, if Yakutou Brothers decided to defend, they would bring 5 heroes, and if they don't defend, they get a free tower while the Dawnbreaker's farming top. So really nice rotation, free tower, and this tower is really important versus Bristle because it kind of stops him from getting this like safe space to farm.
Right.
Those like 2 camps above the Wisdom Rune are now a little dangerous. The Tri-Camp is now easier to farm for the Dragonite, which again, now Dragonite has cleave back. It's like the old school Dragonite where every time you're ulted you get built-in cleave. So he can farm the Ancients, TA can farm the Ancients. Like this offlane tower, I think now, because of those extra camps on the side, matters more. When it used to just basically give you the Tri-Camp, like the Ancient +1 camp, I think it was still scary to go into there. But now because there's more map the enemy wants to control on their side, it's harder to actually control it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd look how far out Akashi's farming, like fairly confidently too, right? Past the tier 1 tower. Emo showing mid, doesn't have much to fear. Haste Rune in the bottle for Emo. That could be a potentially powerful one. I don't know if he's ever... Has he had any earn charges yet? I don't think so, right?
No. I think the one kill they got was at that like 4-minute rune.
Right.
So it was before he had the earn. He can go die to a tower or something and then
That's
get a
true,
free
yeah. You
charge.
get a free charge now. Yeah, but an empty urn and now an empty vessel. But they will smoke up. Haste Rune activated. It seems like right now arrows being drawn to the top lane. That's always the way to do it versus a Dawnbreaker, right? You got to kind of gank to her, otherwise she'll just join the fight anyway. Jing and Eris, but pretty well positioned here. As they themselves are going to look for a kill. Oh, wow, on a fly. Instead, the Hex first onto Emo. They still find both supports in the coil. And in fact, they drag back the Dawnbreaker into that static storm. Beautiful glimpse. Down goes Eris. And now with the Vessel debuff. Okay, hold on, Baboka. He's going to go down. Akashi and Mac laying in the damage. Fly on a double kill here. Can they really continue this fight? Answer is yes, but they have to be careful. There is eventually going to be enough damage with Beyond joining from the bottom lane. A 3-for-1 trade, still phenomenal though for Yakutou Brothers. So they get a pretty solid smoke. Picking off both supports to start was, I mean, phenomenal.
That was almost really cool by Raven. So he ulted and it ended up dodging the orb at the last second, and then because of that it caught the morph, and I think if they just had like a bit more damage,
We'll see it again.
yeah, it was a really nice glimpse too. Like everything here was really nice. They get the coil on 2. They glimpse the last guy back in, and I think just the ability for them to get these like 3 kills back to back with how the early game was going. And look at this like touch right there.
Yeah, I see
it. Was like so close to getting all these kills. Disruptor so low, Morph so low, but just not getting that like 1 extra spell off.
Right, and it's that Vlad's, right? Giving the Morphling that free lifesteal, that little bit of regen. He's just constantly punching away in that fight. These little things making a bit of a difference there. As Jing also not having level 6, you know, he was so close. If he just gets off like a finger of death, even as his dying breath, like maybe, you know, woulda, shoulda, coulda. Either way, Nemesis will still be able to find this tower here, as Mac will join with a shield rune handy.
And that's 3 towers down, and on the other side they've taken 0, so the map's gonna start feeling choked up, but
to kind of take a fight here. Yeah, okay, TPing away. Coil is going to be committed instead. They want to try and take down Mac. Let's see if they have the damage, though. Vessel debuff is going to be taking them down, and with Emo, oh yeah, they certainly got the damage. Between 5 heroes, down goes the DK. Gosh, he scared himself there on his own trap. Activated it there accidentally, but he's nearly at his Deso timing. Showing up to fight fairly early, you know, on that top fight. Making sure he makes space for himself and the rest of his team, just playing hyper efficiently.
Looks like they want to contest this Wisdom Rune. They have 3 heroes, the Dawnbreaker's ult as well. And I don't know if they can actually contest this. They want to. They're bringing the Disruptor, so it might end up being a 5v5, but there's no Dragonite there. So at best, they can only have 4 heroes. Oh, this could be bad for Nemesis.
TA Trap's ready to go. They've got a Sentry. They know the Cliff Ward isn't there. That's beyond it. He's just going to run on in. There go the traps. No one actually claiming the Wisdom Shrine, but they're trying to bail out of this fight. Not going to be that easy, though, versus a Disruptor. Will it? Eris, he will pay the price. There's Raven on the other side of the map. He's going to hold on to that ultimate and capture their own Wisdom Shrine. So they'll go one apiece. Just, you know, good patience there by Nemesis. Not overcommitting, just losing the Ogre.
I feel like he actually might have been able to just take it if he stood on it.
Low key, same.
I was watching it and I was like, just stand on it. You're dead. There's a like, you're gonna get glimpsed no matter what.
Yeah, forced the glimpse earlier or whatever. Well, what do you know? Worked out.
I mean,
worked out all
at best. They only lost an Ogre, so they kind of forced 5 heroes to show up. They only lost an Ogre. I was really worried if they actually were like, hey, let's take this fight. Let's do this. So thankfully they did not. But
yeah. I mean, you know, they make that aggressive move because they've got the tier 1 tower already. But I agree, it would have been weird because they've actually got pretty excellent, they being Nemesis. They've got great wards in the Yakutou jungle. You can see Emo farming under a ward right now. They've got one in between the tier 1 and tier 2 on that kind of, you know what the Chinese call that top part of the map now?
What do they call it?
They call like it the food street. You know,
the like river jungle area?
Yeah, like the river jungles on the top and bottom of the map. They call it like the food street because you can just, you know, it's like in Singapore where you just go to like the hawker stalls.
You just like walk down the street and there's all the,
yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah. That's a good one. I do really like that.
I'm trying to think, what have I called it on Teams? I feel like we should call it like, there's like I don't even know. It was just like the water outside jungle or something.
You don't call it the Mighty Mines or the Wishing Well?
We did not call it the Mighty Mines or the Wishing Well.
Damn.
We used to have there's the hot tub on the old map where there's like that little indent into a pool with a camp in it. That was my favorite because carries would farm that camp so often and you just like, oh, the guy's in the hot tub, go kill him.
Go kill him in the hot tub. Damn, he's just trying to chill in the hot tub, man. You can't just let him be. Jing is so eager to find a stun here, but unfortunately, a bit tough on a line without a Blink Dagger. Oh, and in fact, you know, thinking they can turn this into a fight. Fly joining from above. Yeah, easy kill onto the Lion, I suppose. Not half bad. You take those when you're on a puck. Ooh, but Akashi. Dragonlance and Deso completed. Going into Dagger next. So you say 2-item timing. A lot of times when I've seen Akashi or some other carry TAs, usually they wait for the third. The Dagger to really start getting more active.
I think it's okay to get dagger. It's more just like his damage is the same now as it'll be when he gets dagger. Obviously, it's easier for him to do damage when he has the dagger, but it's like, say they went to go push mid tower. If his team was going to defend, he would be really happy showing up now. Like, obviously, he showed up to this like top fight with what, one item, just only Dragonlance. And so now, I definitely do think he wants to farm a dagger, but it's now a choice to fight, you know, instead of just being like, I'll do it because I have to.
Yeah. Okay, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. So we spoke earlier.
Is BKB on Dragonite. That's what they want.
Okay. I was gonna say we're pretty close to Ag Scepter as well on the Dawnbreaker, right? Raven itemizing into that. We talked about the counterplay potentially that disruptors have against the Dawns. With an Ags, you have a little bit less counterplay, right? Because of that flexibility.
Yeah, and already looking at his quick buy, he has BKB and Shard, which are the two responses I said that he's going to eventually get rid of Disruptor. So planning ahead, knows what he needs. And I mean, it will be a thing where right now he gets glimpsed out every time he ults. So it kind of sucks, but Disruptor can't be everywhere. So at some point he'll just ult, even just to save one of his teammates with heals or get a random stun on a hero.
Yeah.
Or like you watch a guy get glimpsed back in, you save your ult till he glimpses your DK. Now that your DK's in their whole team, you ult him.
Exactly. That's kind of what I was thinking. I was thinking like, as a disruptor player into a matchup like this, it does kind of change the calculus of how you can use glimpse, right? Because as soon as you use that spell, even if it's like what, like a 16-second cooldown or whatever, like it does fundamentally change the way that the enemy is going to play the fight. And I know that's like literally true of every single spell, but especially in this kind of a game.
You gotta use your brain when playing Dota.
Dude, you do. That's the hard part. You can't just
I
click
hate
button.
having to use my brain. I feel like Nemesis should try to do something. I know they're probably happy to farm, but I just feel like they hit their BKB, they hit their Ags, they hit their Blink, they hit a timing on all three cores. And I feel like it just kind of feels awkward to let the map say like play out. And I guess the only argument is that, oh, well, Tormentor's up in a minute so they can play to get Tormentor, but it still just feels like you've wasted a lot of time. So they are going to smoke up and try to get a kill.
This should not pan out then for Nemesis. They smoked right underneath an Observer Ward. And you can see the reactions now from the Yakutou Brothers. They're backing up, playing defensively behind that tier 2 tower as Akashi's going to unleash onto some Morphling illusions. Breaks the smoke for that. Counter smoke now coming then by Yakutou Brothers. Everyone ready to fight here. So Lotus Orb on the Bristleback.
This is going to be a Tormentor fight. The Dawn does have ult and Ags.
Go down pretty fast and basically instantly there. Beyond running on in. He's got that hairball to try and keep him at bay. So there's the Ignite onto 2. Okay, Coil finally committed. They've actually found a Mac here with it, but Jing, a beautiful stun from behind. And now look at the Dawnbreaker ulti as well, keeping everyone healed up. Beyond not taking a lick of damage there from the Finger of Death. Buyback onto the Ogre as the Lion falls behind enemy lives, but it's Akashi focused by Baboka and Flyfly. Beyond even getting in there. Formation of the fight breaking down there for Nemesis, who will be able to get their hands on top of that Tormentor, but then lose the fight off the back of it.
I don't know if they expected that. The Lion kind of gated out just instantly and then has to like gate back in inside of the entire enemy team. And even the Ogre buying back just felt awkward. I don't know. I feel like at this point, like here, when you see that your Ogre's caught, I think there's no way the Dawnbreaker ult's gonna pan out either. Like, you know, the glimpse hasn't been used, right? So I think at that point you just BKB on the Dragonite TP. I think it's surprising that the TA got caught. I'm assuming the Muerta caught him with the Atos, kind of at the bottom of the fight, and then like Atos dead shot him back into the team. But I feel like that's kind of one of those fights that you just shouldn't have given them if you're Nemesis.
Right, it's like we're here for Tormentor. Either we stand our ground, take a fight with, you know, high ground vision, or we all bail, right? Not this like 50-50 kind of a thing.
Yeah, because I think if they were on that right high ground as like the Ogre walked in or the disruptor walked in and they just killed the first guy that walked up the hill, it would have been a different fight.
Right.
Or even better yet, they used their timings at the 18-minute mark and actually took a fight beforehand, because they smoked what at 19:30, 19:40, like a full minute, 2 minutes after they had their full timings, get nothing and then get smoked on anyway. So they did miss their whole timing.
It's a catch. Jink jumping on in. They need to make sure they get the damage. Emo on a hair of HP. Managing to throw the coil down on a Mac. That'll cancel the blink dagger here for a second, but just enough time for Emo to have his ready. And with curveball, I don't know if they're catching this puck, man. I don't believe so.
That was a good coil.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
I think if he didn't get that coil off like right there, he would have just been blinked on by the DK and died.
Yeah, definitely. I think he was a breathe fire away from dying. That's for sure. Nice catch there. No coil now. So Nemesis, they feel like they can move straight into Roche with low resources right now on Yakutou Bros mid laner, even if they don't get that kill.
I think that they're going to be too late on Nemesis to contest this.
Yeah, I don't think they can. Oh, actually, I said that the wrong way, right? No Elder Dragon form and no Solar Guardian, so they're able to take that Roche down easy peasy. Yeah, it is Nemesis who have been very content to farm. Maybe TA with a BKB Akashi deciding this is the item I need to really stand my ground and fight.
Yeah, I think... maybe? I don't know. I feel like BKB really only helps him do damage versus what, Marta? Really? Like Marta Deadshot, Marta Atos?
Yeah.
I would say ideally in these fights, like ever since that the DK got a blink, which has been pretty early, if DK stuns any hero that's not probably Bristleback, the TA can just blink on them and kill them in a stun.
Right.
So it just feels weird that they haven't they haven't done that once. Like the two of them have not blinked on the same target and killed them.
Are they just scared of like blinking into a static storm or something like this? Like, is that really what the deal breaker? Because that's another thing I'm seeing this BKB being very useful for. It allows you to kind of ignore the disruptor in these fights.
I think to some extent, yeah. But it's not... I think like it's scary to do that, but disruptor is bad innately versus getting jumped, right? Like disruptor's better when you're the ones chasing them down and not the ones being chased down. So I just think that in general they should have looked to take fights.
That one fight might be incoming. Ooh, the silence onto two. Baboka too fast with it, and Akashi, he's got nothing to hit. Under the cover is BKB running for his life. Raven having to give him that little bit of heals just to keep him alive, but the fight's broken down, and Mac, he's completely isolated. So far, no one's died on Team Nemesis. Mac's gonna try and BKB TP his way out of here, and he will live. So, wow, that was close. It's still a bad fight regardless, though, isn't it? Akashi trying to set a trap here. In fact, it's a beautiful one. Look at that, Mac. Or Emo, he springs right into it. Beyond's going to keep running up to high ground for good reason. He's got that kill onto the Ogre. They're going to keep going more and more and more now. They want to try and get Raven. Static Storm committed, but he does manage to get himself out, if only for a second before the glimpse is utilized. Akashi, no BKB here to cover him. Is he thinking about making a jump on in with Mac? Beyond just being a tank here. There's the stun on the Fly. To get off that strength gain, though, the attribute shift. Tower so far defended as Fly jumps on in. He's going to eat a Hex. Mac thinking about who he wants to jump on top of Baboka once again. Pierce the veil. Look at the damage versus 4. Mac just falls. And that's the tower. What in the world?
Might be a Rax. It might be.
They have a wave? They got a wave. Whew. That's not how I was expecting that fight to go. The Nemesis, they're gonna lose these barracks down bottom. Kashi not even in the base anymore, just trying to farm up as much as he can. Just buyback here on the DK, but for what? And that is going to be the important barracks down bottom.
Now the game's scary. I feel like they really just missed their timing, and like everything just led up to this Tormentor fight, and now you're behind with a pretty aggressive early game draft. Like you wanted your Dragon Knight to have a good game, you wanted your TA to have a good game and have the ability to kill these heroes in a stun, and now Morphling hit Butterfly. Butterfly Aegis. This is the most common morph timing for the last, what, year, 2 years, forever. And I think this is just another side. I don't see how Nemesis actually find the damage to kill these heroes.
I don't see it because there's no Orchid on Mac, right? He didn't go for Orchid this game, so it's not like we'll have a Bloodthorn anytime soon. Indeed not. Yeah, I think it's just been really awkward for them here. You know, I think that it's one team fighting on their timings, another team not, and now Nemesis, they're forced to fight with whatever they have. Decent damage here on the Fly, but again, with the Butterfly, he's just able to stand his ground. The magic damage is not really all that scary. Mac, glimpsed on back as Beyond, just getting chunked by Akashi, but he's just far too tanky. Tier 3 tower, that'll be destroyed. The barracks, they still stand in the mid lane. Oh man, it's tough. I just feel like with the items the DK went, he went Blink BKB, right? Like those to me are fighting items. That's a guy who wants to blink in, find a stun, and have someone else come in to do the damage for him, right? And that's just not
definitely
happened this game.
I feel like there just wasn't really pressure. I think it's kind of similar to what happened in the first game, that it's like the early game's good. They do some back and forth stuff, but the game looks pretty solid. I would say even the first game looked solid for them. Like I could definitely have seen them winning that game. But then something just happens around this like 15, 16, 17 minute mark where they just start getting really passive and a bit afraid. They don't make a move. And then there's one big move that happens. This game, it was the Tormentor. The first game, I think it was the mid. It was like top rune fight.
Bottom power rune.
Like that.
Yeah, bottom power rune.
Yeah, and it's just like this one mistake, and then it just snowballs. They can't like stop themselves from, they can't stop the bleeding really, which is I think another sign of a very good team. If you watch a team like Falcons, for example, off the top of my head, they'll make mistakes. Like some guy will die, or they'll lose a team fight really bad. Like they'll just get 5-0 in a team fight, but the mistakes stop. Like the game doesn't keep getting into a worse situation after that.
Yeah, they bounce back, they adapt their gameplay. Here, we're cutting waves here already. Unfortunately, Eris caught hiding behind a tree. Emo just knew he had to be nearby. Yeah, it's weird, right? Because I felt like with Emo going for this Vessel first build and then not getting any charges for like 4 minutes, I thought there was like, oh, Nemesis, they're going to play on this Deso timing pretty hard on the TA. Maybe they're going to fight for that 14-minute Wisdom rune. Didn't do any of it. And it's like, well, if Akashi wanted to lay back and farm, I do think like this is a lineup that could have farmed, right? Like a DK and a Dawn, they can scale, but I don't think they kind of were all on the same page, or necessarily they planned to not fight, obviously, on their timings. But it feels forced now. It feels a little difficult. You got an MKB online for Akashi, so you got the tools, you have this 20 talent, but you no longer have any outer towers, so the time to fight, it's basically looking here and now. Akashi, he'll let one rip there onto Beyond. It'll do absolutely no damage there. He's got that plate now. Now, you got one tier 3 tower left. The ranged racks top, the ranged racks bottom, and then mid exposed with only a tier 3 top. Difficult state of the game here. 4 to 15, 11K net worth lead right now for Yakutou Brothers. Seems like next Roche is... Yeah, that's true. Tormentor's probably theirs, but I think the best Nemesis can do is just wait for Roche and try and take an honest Roche fight here.
Yeah, I think if they get Aegis again on the morph thing, I think the game might just be over. So I think even if the fight's going to be hard or awkward for Nemesis, they might just want to take the Roche fight. Because look at what happened last time the morph had Aegis. He had it for what? 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, and they took bot side and mid tier tier 3. It's like if he gets Aegis again, that's probably just mega creeps.
So this is a classic Boboka support. I think first game he did go for the Ag Scepter, which is more standard. This game, we're going to see something a little bit different from him as soon as that Voodoo Mask gets flown over. A little bit more damage, a little bit more our Revenant's Brooch, maybe?
Not too sure. I think he's probably just feeling himself with Boboka.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is why I love watching their games. I think he gets an idea and he's going to execute on it. And you know what? The last team fight bottom that Nemesis took, that ended up getting their barracks taken after a very long fight. it started by Baboka kind of, you know, just standing there and getting to pierce the veil off faster than a stun could land onto him. From there,
He
like
disjointed the stun with his pierce the veil. In fact, like he did it while the Dragon Knight someone's in the air.
He's a gamer, basically, right?
Yeah,
you could say.
You could say that. You could think that.
You could think that. One could be led to believe. You know, look, you'll close your right eye, and that's, you know, ignore the puck support game. But Boca, this guy's a bit of a gamer. In case you didn't know, he's good. I love watching him. He's been one of my favorite Chinese support players over the years, especially these last few years. I just feel like with Coach Yakutou.
He's been consistent.
Yeah, well, you know, consistency is boring. Why not give me a support Medusa game or a support puck game? You know, give the people a little bit of a reprieve from your standard muertas and everything, and ring
the support
masters.
puck was really something impressive.
I know you're already trying that. You're gonna queue up after we finish, and you're gonna go support puck.
I do not think I will, fortunately, for my sake and everyone around me's sake.
For your behavior source sake.
Yeah, I'm like
fair.
12,000. I would like to keep it that way.
That's fair. That's fair. You know what? We're jostling for position. The second row, she's respawned. Down bottom for another 2 minutes. There's going to be a jump on in. Can they actually get a kill here on a Beyond? Not quite. As they have glimpsed back the Dragon Knight. Baboka from behind, ready to jump on in. This is a very tanky Bristleback. He's got an AC and a Lotus. A ton of armor.
I wonder if they would have killed him if they committed the Dawn BKB ult.
Yeah, no BKB.
They would have had to time their stuns perfectly so that the Bristle was staring at them for longer.
Nemesis buyback's looking like I think the Dawn's saving her buyback at the moment, right? Yeah, that's probably wise. So the Dawn and DK are holding on to buyback. The TA does not. So Akashi's basically all in right now. 9-second BKB on Fly though. I mean, this is brutal. He doesn't have buyback, but if he gets a single kill in the fight, he will.
I think that kind of gambling is fine. Like, you need just one kill for buy.
Yeah. Basically has it.
Alright, so this is Roche. I don't know if... I don't think they can contest their smoking, but they're going to be way too late. I guess the Roar is going to buy them a bit of time. It's close.
Serrated Shiv doing a lot of work. They're trying. Dawn's pushing out top. She can always just ult on in. Roche down to half HP. As Yakutou, ooh, they're not gonna be. Oh, Baboka, this time he's in position. He's not gonna get caught twice like that. And now Emo, jump on in. He's found a coil onto Akashi. They will snap it there. Really nice spell casting. Solar Guardian in time is gonna save Akashi, but now they need something to do the damage here. Beyond looking worse for where is Jing. He's gonna drop first in the river, and all of a sudden Raven's somewhat trapped in the middle of the river, trying to TP away with what's left of the BKB. No chance there. 3 dead for Nemesis. And Roshan meandering through the river. It's up to Yakutou to where they want to move, and I think it's going to be straight down mid. Might just be the game.
I think you force buybacks because you kind of just prove that they can't fight you in the Roche pit, especially after that. They're not going to have BKBs. So it's kind of like you take mid as much as you can. You force them to have to buy, and then when they do buy, you just go Roche anyway.
Well, either that or they don't buy, and you just get the Megas. Nemesis, I mean, the Dragon Form's going to be running out soon, but they've got basically no choice. Buyback out from the Dawnbreaker without an ultimate, mind you. Maybe not even a BKB at this stage. Glyph of Fortification. Everything used for the defense here, but still, Nemesis, they're playing against the Disruptor. They don't have the Disruptor, so no chance to try and find a cheeky kill on the way out as Yakutou move for second Roche. And, you know, World's just their oyster, and I really have to say, good read by Yakutou. Last game, that's how they basically lost the game, right? After Nemesis had a really good smoke around. This time, it didn't work out.
Yeah, I mean, it was the Roche, right, in that last game that kind of gave them. But I don't know. I feel like in that game they had a bit more damage, whereas in this game I feel like I don't know. Again, I feel like the story from what I've seen of Nemesis, it just feels like even in the first game, it's like they have these timings and then they're a bit afraid to use them. And I think that their drafts are timing based. So then it just doesn't really work out. Like,
yeah,
I would have really liked the Dragon Knight to actually use his blink to get kills, but they have 4 kills total, which is not really what you'd want, especially with a Dawn. Like, you wouldn't be able to have used this Dawnel and gotten 6, 7, 8, 9 kills, something like that, right?
Or
like,
a Lion Finger, you know, to follow up on a Morphling. Yeah, I mean, I did say, you know, oh, usually when you play against Morph, if you get a relatively fast blink, you usually get a free kill against them, especially with a lineup like this. Didn't really see it, as Roshan has roared now the 3rd time on this life. His poor lungs. Someone put him out of his misery here.
Go in.
I think they've got no choice. I think they have to. Roche is going to go down any moment here, and they're just not decisive in going in. Emo, he's going to eat a Hex. That's a pretty good opportunity, but he's got that Aeon Disc. He's A-okay. Beyond finished off, though, before the Melt Strike could even connect. That's not half bad. Does have buyback, but Fly, he's morphed into the Templar Assassin. He's doing pretty good damage now onto Mac. Okay, another bait play here by Akashi. They're going to try and let loose onto him. That Static Storm, though, giving him some reprieve alongside the BKB on the first life. A buyback now from the Ogre as Team Nemesis trying desperately to take a hold in this game. They don't want to fall here 1 and 2 on day 1, but that is not the best buyback out from Eris. Immediately dead. A second time, sidelined for a minute as they did not get the Aegis out. Beyond is going to buy back. There's only... Well, there's still the ranged Rax bottom, but there's only 1 tier 3 left, Gunner.
It's not even a tier 3. Just one side of Rax.
Oh, there is not even a tier 3. You're right about that. They got it earlier. Here they go. Akashi being focused down. A decent Hex buys him a little bit of time to get off the BKB, but Fly, he's just too darn big. And look at Raven, just stunned into his death. No BKB. He cannot stand his ground and fight as Nemesis being ran out of this game. Number 3, Mac is going to have to throw in the towel. GG well played is called. Yakutou Brothers, they will be taking game number 3 and the series to go 1-1 on the day to the road to the International. Nemesis, well, they're going to be playing from behind 0 and 2 for their day number 1.